Welcome to the latest installment of Hair Matters, where we talk the latest and the greatest in the world of styling. Here are your hosts, the best aunt-niece routine in the Northeast, Noelle and Aurora.
Why, thank you, Dan. Wow. And today we want to welcome Eric James, Master Colorist and Educator. So you're a young dinosaur in the industry, Eric. I know that you've a career of over 20 years, which is really amazing for a young fellow like you. So currently you're the regional educator and manager for New England's L'Oreal professional line.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you've spent time behind the chair, as we have. And you're also a master colorist, which I can attest to because I've seen all your work.
Yes, thank you.
You're simply amazing.
Yes, and you're an educator for Wella Professional.
I was.
You were.
Yes.
You've been nominated for 2 times an Educator of the Year.
Correct.
Wow. Trends Division semifinalist.
Yes.
And 2016 Boston A-List winner for Best Highlights.
Yeah, that was a fun one too.
Very awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. Best
Thank you.
highlights. So I think before we get into the business, let's talk about color trends for fall and holiday hair.
Big ones. So one of the biggest trends we're seeing, or not even really a trend, just a shift in the industry, is that we're kind of getting away from the mermaid fantasy thing. You know, it's been slowly coming out, but that classic beautiful hair, right?
Yes.
We're going back to that. And so for the fall, we're always looking at our coppers. We're looking at our reds, our chocolates, mochas, things like that. So it's a great transition period. And fortunately, I'm with L'Oreal Professional, and we're launching Glow in September. I think it just came out. And it's amazing. It's
What
a
is
game
it?
changer.
Glow.
Glow, yep. So it lives in Majorelle. It's a permanent hair color. However, it has no level, tone only, and a little bit of base. So 10 shades, all cool shades, focused on blues and violets. So we can attain those really, really cool, crispy, cooler than a polar bear's toenail, right? East Coast, nobody wants to be honey, right? Everybody wants ice, Elsa. So now with these new shades, we can achieve that.
So they're rich tones and they have no lift.
Nope. They have, depending on your developer, because they have the ammonia, maybe like up to 3 levels, because you really don't want to use it past 30. It's pretty delicate. But no level. So just prismatic, luminosity, just sheer. It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, the way you describe it,
I know.
it's delicious.
Now,
it's
does
tasty.
this Glow line have for brunettes, or is it just mainly for blondes?
That's the key. So we have, out of the 10 shades, we have 5 in a dark and 5 in a light. So our dark are going to be 5 and below, and our lights are going to be 6 and above.
I like that.
But we calibrated them to the undertones of hair, right? So in those lower regions, the 5 and below, we've got like a 0.17, which is a blue-green. So think about all your brunettes who come back, I don't want to see any red. I want chocolate.
Me.
No, right. Take a little 0.17, and we have a brand new developer coming with it, 12.5. Glaze that right through. In 6 weeks, you're not going to see any warmth. So we've got it for the brunettes. And on the other end, we've got, 0.11, which is a double blue, 0.12, which is a blue violet. So you can really attain those just icy looks.
Now, what happens if you have already a highlight in your hair and you want to attain those icy looks?
So at that point, if you want to get like that Elsa white, right?
Yes.
That really, really level 45, you know what I mean?
Right. That doesn't exist.
Exactly. If you want to get up there, I would first assess you during a consult and see if you're there yet, right? So if you're still in the undertones of, anywhere between below 8, in the golds and the yellows, golds and the oranges, we're going to have to lift you more. Right. So I'm going to have to get you that pale yellow. But once I hit that pale yellow, right, whether it's existing or I put it in, I can then go over with the glow, wipe out that little bit of yellow with the violet, and nice and bright. And with no level, if I bring you to that, like, say, realistically 13, no level, you're going to stay there. You're going to stay bright. Where most toners at a 10 or glazes, you got to bring it down. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty amazing. I think for us, too, one of our biggest challenges is toning.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, like you said, you always get that undertone, and that sounds pretty amazing. I think we need L'Oreal
I'm
I
telling
know.
you, it's incredible.
But as a brunette too, I'm always searching for like that beigey brown, and I find a lot of people are into that right
They
now.
call it
0.13.
mushroom.
Or ash brown.
Mushroom
There's like
brown,
100
yeah.
different ways to
I got
say
it in the truck. 0.13.
Oh, can you?
Absolutely. I got you. I'm coming to the shop. I'm coming to the
Oh,
shop.
we're going to arrange that.
Absolutely.
0.13, so that is ash gold.
So that one is going to be, that's going to be an ash gold, a blue-based ash gold. And what it does is it almost gives on a level 5 with that undertone, level 6, just a wheat, sand,
I
just
love that.
nice, clean. You know what I mean?
I
Just
want it
clean.
now.
So I
It's
want
beautiful.
to ask you this. So I've worked with both L'Oreal and Wella. I was tending to go a little more towards Wella at one time. Mm-hmm. What do you find are the biggest differences between Wella and L'Oreal?
Twofold question. So there's, for being who I am and what I was with both organizations, there's the business side and then the color side. So what I find with Majorelle over Wella, right, or just L'Oreal Professional in general, I don't want to say better, but I feel it's superior.
Right.
But what it is, it's a clean line. Our naturals are just RBY, just those primaries. There's no additional warmth, there's no additional coolness, so you can calibrate and tweak to what you like. Whereas Wella always seemed to run kind of warm to me.
It did run
Right.
a little warm.
Little
I
bit-
agree.
So I'd have to work a little harder to get those cooler shades, But where Wella couldn't stand next to L'Oreal Professionnel is in the support you get for the business. We have business building. Like, we don't just come in and offer you color and a little bit of education. We'll help you build your salon. We'll help you get that business up and running. And the support is it's unbelievable.
But also, it's a full service line. I mean, you have shampoo, conditioner, treatments. I mean, everything is so accessible.
Absolutely. And what's beautiful about the Serie Expert line, which is our retail line,
Right.
is, let's say you need, repair in volume. You could use a shampoo and a conditioner from each line and get the benefits of both. You don't need to get all, shampoo, conditioner, mask in order to achieve the benefits of that line.
And it's great for clients to upsell. Like when they leave,
Absolutely.
they have a L'Oreal shampoo, conditioner, treatment.
Well,
the
as
whole system.
as the owner of the salon, what I find difficult, the investment you make in color and the waste. Additionally, what happens when you have to buy your permanent color? Then you have to buy your semi-permanent. Then you buy your demi. I mean, you're just overloaded with color. So I wish there was a way to make that a little easier, not only for me financially, but for the stylists.
Absolutely. I have a suggestion on that,
Yes.
And what I kind of do is when I go into your salon or your shop or your business, I'm gonna ask you, what's your demographic? Like, what are you doing the most of? And you'll find that if your staff is all over Instagram and social kicking out blondes, I'm gonna bet 80% of your business is blondes because that's what you're putting out, and they're seeing that great work and they want it. So once you kind of figure out what your demographic is, like these are the shades we run through constantly. These are what we're using constantly. Then we can kind of narrow that down. We have such a wide portfolio, so you don't have to cherry pick.
Right.
Everything is
It's almost
there.
too overwhelming sometimes.
It can be.
When I was working with L'Oreal and Wella and paying for it naturally, it can be a little difficult. I also wanted to talk a little bit about technique. We were just talking about foils off air, so talk to us about what you were saying about foiling.
So a big thing I'm noticing with foiling and balayage and all the lighting services is that we have to remember that negative space is as important as the light we're putting in. If you can't have light without shadow, can't have shadow without light. So if you're packing those foils in, the value isn't how many, it's where. Right? So where's that placement? Where's it going to
placement, yeah.
fall, right? What are we highlighting or what are we maybe hiding?
I feel like that's why balayage took off, is because you're using the natural shadow of a base, right? Creating the light off of that. So
Absolutely.
people love that look of the sun-kissed with a natural base. So
Absolutely.
it seems like that's why it kind of took off.
But
too.
what do you suggest for the negative space then? Just doing less of the color of the highlighted portion?
Oh, my poor friends this morning that had the class with me. I was did a class this morning on foils, and they must have heard me say it 100 times. Look at the landscape. Look at what's there when you walk in. When they walk in and they sit down, and you had never seen them before, and they have it parted to the left, parted to the right. See what's happening on that side. And then as you go, if you don't need more light there, don't put it. But if you have too much light, add that negative space, add that low in there. And it's not about two on this side, two on, it's symmetry, it's balance.
It's also, there's some artistic value that we lose. Highlight, low light, two highlights, two low lights, or just putting in all your lights and coloring everything else in between, and then it just looks like a muddled mess.
Absolutely.
And I'm not a fan
I
of
always
that.
wonder too, like when I'm working, even not just for blondes, but anyone, how many levels down should you consider a toner? Should you do like, okay, let's do an in between, not toner, I'm sorry, low light. So let's say you're working with like a 9. Should you put a 7 toner in?
Bang, 7. Absolutely.
Okay. So always
2
work
is a
about
good.
2 is a good.
Absolutely, because then again, you don't, depending, again, going back to technique, how you're putting it in, if you were to go, say, 3, 4 levels down, and you were going to weave, and you were just a really, strict weaver, right, super technical, you're going to have piano keys on your head.
Right.
So
It does look like that. Great explanation.
But then sometimes if I don't go low enough, it
almost
didn't
looks
do
hollow and
yeah,
just-
it just
yeah.
doesn't even look like anything
There's
was
nothing.
done.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh man, all that work. And
But
where
in
is
that,
it?
so for brunettes, you're using the roots then to kind of be the offset of.
Absolutely. So with a brunette, I'm going to look at that base, and then I'm going to tweak it. Maybe
Yeah.
not the base, but my low light. So
Yeah.
if the base is a little bit warm, I wouldn't want that much through the ends. I'll adjust it with a little bit of blue per se. If I'm,
Okay.
brunette, looking at orange, somewhere in there. A little bit of blue pull down and just balance it out.
So do you think balayaging is here to stay?
Oh, God, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been here, but so are foils.
But
It's
it
been
has
here
been
forever.
here. We always
would
talk about that.
Yeah, it's actually probably one of the oldest techniques. It's so, balayage.
I was watching Friends, and we always talk about Jennifer Aniston,
Yes.
and her the old episodes, and you see that she has a full-on balayage in her hair, and
With
everyone
just a little
loved-
bit of,
just like-
a little face frame in the front.
She
Little
was
money
one of the
piece.
first, and you always say that Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker, way back in the 90s when she was on Sex and the City, she always had
Yeah.
her roots showing.
Yep, and then
Yeah.
I know my girl Nancy Braun in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
She's just huge, amazing LP artist, but she's the Bali Lama. I mean, she's been
Lama.
doing it.
that.
I love that.
She's been doing it for years and years and years, and she's a wonderful instructor. She's a great educator, heart of gold, and she's got skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been around. And then, when it got really, really oversaturated, and people were calling for, can I have a biolage?
Oh, my.
Don't have it. No, sorry.
That's a shampoo.
That's a shampoo.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the when it really kicked off, people thought foils were going. But now I find the perfect marriage is that foliage.
Foliage,
Yep.
exactly.
You
Just did
need
that
the
today.
catalyst of the heat, right, to get out of those
I always use
100%.
that.
7s, 8s.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I think it's great if someone can use foil wrap or whatever they're doing. It just seems more artistic, but there's nothing like a foil that's going to lift that right
What do you
up.
think of the clay lighteners? See, sometimes they work so slow that you don't achieve those light pieces when you let it open air.
Absolutely. And that's kind of one of the draws of the clay lighteners to me. So the way I explain it is if Aurora had come in
Yeah.
and she explained to me she wanted like some, maybe just a face frame, but she wants ice. She wants that violety ice, right? So if I go and I grab freehand techniques from L'Oreal Professional, which is kind of that same base. It's a balayage open air lightener. That's like me taking a moped to a drag race and being like, oh, I lost. It was a bad choice on my part. That's not what that's for.
But I think
Yeah.
it's such a misconception because you'll look on Instagram, for example, and they show the hair processing and it's all open air, and then they show this beautiful icy blonde. It just doesn't happen.
Well, and again, now all these variables,
Of course,
like
there's
trying to
always.
find virgin hair is like, you got better luck hanging out with a leprechaun riding a unicorn. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But the clay lighteners, the open air lighteners, I love them on a level 7 and above.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. It
I
can't
was
beat
just going to
it.
say that too. I mean, I feel like we watch even in the salon. Sometimes people make the mistake because it looks more like artistic and fun, but brunettes don't work well with the open air.
Unless
clay,
they just want like a
which
little
doesn't.
push, just a little
Yeah,
lighter.
you want a little caramel, or you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to like land in that warmth of rose gold, because now that would be good. Like a more of a golden backdrop
Yeah.
would be great for a rose gold instead of bringing it all the way up and coming back down.
So are
Yeah.
there any new techniques that we should be looking for that you know of?
New techniques. Well, you'd have to come to one of my classes.
Yeah, well, we plan on that, but
Oh yeah, we'll be one
Yes.
at your shop.
Yeah.
Technique. It's really
pretty
It's
much standard.
standard.
What we're sticking with now.
Yeah.
I noticed that ombre is not as popular.
No. And again, that kind of ties in. I don't want to tie it in with mermaid, but how that massive color drop, in those services, right? It's just too much. We're going with that subtlety now and bringing that back.
Yeah, you really think the fantasy colors are going to go away? We do have a big call for them in our salon.
Not forever.
but
Not forever. I'm just not.
I think they're a pain in the neck, quite frankly.
Oh my God. Well, the first thing is if you're going to do those, a lot of those, I just highly suggest having a form ready to sign an initial saying you're not responsible for filling that hair. You most likely will incur damage, especially if you want silver. The only way to get
Oh,
to
yeah.
silver is to go all the way up.
We
So-
never want to touch silver.
I'm a big, huge advocate for rose gold, but
Oh, I love it.
I love rose gold. I'm always searching for the best rose
Can
gold.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Now, this comes up all the time. What's your rose gold? 'Cause
My rose gold is a pink rose gold.
Me too. A dusty pink,
Yes.
more in that,
Not
and
a
less in the
copper. Not a
orange.
copper.
Copper, no.
But that's
and
huge.
everybody has a different opinion of rose gold. Essentially, it's the purest is kind of like an orangey rose
Mm-hmm,
gold. It's like the best, what people think of.
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to find, does L'Oreal have any great?
Or a dusty rose, maybe more so than a rose gold.
No, I mean, I
Because
like
when
a
you
rose
bring
gold,
in
but I like an
gold-
ashy rose gold, which is a contradiction, but
Yeah.
I like an ashy rose gold.
So, a 0.24 in DRHS is there it is. So what I would do with that is,
What level do I have to lift someone to?
well, see, now that has no level, so you want to put that nice drop on it. The lighter you get, you go to a 9, 10, 11, you're going to see more of that pink. You stay
Yeah.
down at an 8, you're going to get more of the rosy, right? It's going
Okay,
to rock out
yeah.
like that. But it's definitely going to want to lift first and then put this down.
Okay.
Other than that, we've got our variations of 4-3 and 3-4. So 4 in L'Oreal Professional Majorelle is copper. So, and then you've got that gold. So if you had come in and you were very gold, I would go with a copper dominant gold to try to get that, use the undertone to try to create a better rose gold. Whereas if you were very coppery, I'd go with a 3-4 and go heavier on my gold just to balance things out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wow. That's
I'm
pretty
just
amazing.
always so curious because
Well,
I'm
yeah.
always for myself. I'm not even
Yeah.
asking for
No,
clients.
do you
know that?
I'll actually
I
check the
always-
trunk. I might have a 0.24 in
I'm
there.
literally obsessed with rose gold, but I don't want it to be. I want it for me. So I'm
Yeah.
always asking for formulas or what people think. But
I would love so I would probably do. I would face frame you with that and do very just kind of baby light
Yep.
and work my way down to heavier in the front.
Yep.
And I would absolutely hit right behind the ear. Because a lot of times in a partial, things like that, we skip that.
Yes.
We go in front of the ear. But you always see women go like this.
Yes.
So when they're bringing their hair forward over their shoulders to the front, that's that piece that comes down. It's just going to be
If not, there's a disconnect for sure.
absolutely. And just to rewind a little bit on the placement, how we were talking about that
Right.
with the not to avoid oversaturating. Another thing I tell people to do is keep the rules of contouring in mind when you highlight and low light. Huge. Don't worry about your tracks and your tees and your mohawks, etc. Right? You really just want to focus on that. It's of contouring, yeah. Because so the two rules are going to be light will expand, dark will diminish. Right. So I always keep that in mind, that contouring. So when you sit down in my chair, if I discern that you have maybe a triangle shaped face, so you would be widest at the temples and you would be thin right down to the chin. If I were to put a traditional money piece in the front, I make you look like your head's a billboard. Right? So I'm going to expand it, right? So maybe instead of going with the money piece there, I drop it back a little bit, keep the natural in the front to close that off, and put more light towards the
Well,
ends.
that is so
That's
important.
just
people
amazing,
don't
yeah.
even look at that.
No, but when you look in the mirror if it looks great or not. And sometimes that can be it. And then, Sue, skin tone. You got to be in the right tones.
Exactly.
Ask your client when they sit down, when you tan, do you go pink or do you go bronze? Right? Look at their veins. Are they blue or are they green? If they're blue, they're
so
cool.
that's a good question. So let's talk about that because I remember learning that, and then over years you just stopped
Yeah,
doing it.
totally.
So if you have, let's say, green veins,
Mm-hmm.
what is the colors that are going to be great for you?
So that means you're going to be warm skin, right? So there are a couple of schools of thought on that, but there is like a trifecta too. You've got hair, skin, and eyes.
Yep.
2 of those should be right there on point, and 1 should contrast. So let's say you had warm skin, warm eyes, go with that cool hair. And on the flip, think about the Irish girl, right? white, pale, right? Green eyes. Put red on her. See what happens. Her eyes are
I
going to jump out of her
agree. I
head,
agree.
and it's going to...
I even find that even with like the Irish skin, well, I shouldn't say Irish skin, but the lighter skin with the black hair, it's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when I see the black hair on tan skin, it takes away. And I'm like, just because you're darker skin doesn't mean you need that dark
Jet
hair.
black hair.
Yeah.
Great
Right.
point, Aurora. Absolutely. You
And
just
for
don't need
me,
it.
with my skin tone, if I go that dark, I'm a witch.
Yeah,
If
well, that's what I
automatically.
mean.
If I put anything warm on, I look jaundiced. I put the baby in the tanning booth with the glasses. Like, I look sickly. So you'll never see me in anything warm.
What do you
so
think
true.
would look good on Dan?
Oh, this should be good.
He's a
Mask.
he's a handsome bastard as it is.
With those eyes and the...
And I like the silver. He's rocking it.
I like it too. I told him I don't want to color that.
I do
No,
too.
no, I'd let it go. You're doing just fine, my man.
I got the skunk look ready.
That's it.
you
Looking
go.
good,
But
brother.
I'm so envious of brunettes who have light eyes because it just brings out their brunette. Like when you have the dark eye, the dark hair, sometimes it's so much dark that I don't know how to work with someone like what level caramel or what level honey. It kind of gets a little, for me, tough
Absolutely.
because it's just a lot of brown. So you think immediately add more brown, but sometimes that's not.
No,
the
yeah,
case.
yeah. You sometimes you want to deviate from that,
Yeah.
and give it almost like not a conversation piece, but like just a signature, right? Like it's super bespoke for them.
Yeah.
And so if you bring it that way, like for me with a brunette, violet. Like if you
Oh,
put a
yeah.
little bit of violet under there
Yeah.
and just that like that frosty chocolate, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, so violet is always a good play to play with the browns,
yeah.
where I would not go with a straight red.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, that's mainly opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that wisdom with us. I want to get into business a little bit.
Yes.
So, like Dan, because Dan runs our front desk, you are a straight man in a primarily, how do I say this nicely?
Female dominated.
A female dominated, or also some homosexual people as well, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and believe me, some of the most creative people I know are homosexual. But how do you navigate?
See, very, very easily in a way, because being straight in the industry, especially going back 20 years, I had plenty of advantages, right? Because I was a novelty,
Yeah.
per se, right?
Right.
And so I was able to kind of navigate a little quicker through the ranks, which was not good. Right?
You didn't get enough under your belt at that
I
point,
did not
right?
get it. I'll tell you real quick. I'll make this so quick. I'm not the dude I was, right? So if I saw Eric 20 years ago, I'd probably punch him in the mouth. So I was so cocky. Like I was just out of hair school, and I got behind the chair, right? I have no business behind the chair after like 6 months of getting
Yeah.
out of hair school. No business. But I'm walking around like Vidal Sassoon, so whatever. I'm sitting there. Eric, you have a request. Okay. So I go up, get her, bring her back to the shampoo bowl. Mind you, there's no consult. No idea why she's there. No idea who she is, right? But okay. I shampoo her. Bring it back. It was probably a really crappy shampoo too. Bring her back to the chair. I start combing her hair out. And then I'm looking at it. I'm like, where did you go? This is horrible. I've never seen a worse haircut. And she just slowly looked up in the mirror, made eye contact, and said, "You did it." Oh my God, I got hot
Eric,
throat.
can
yeah.
you imagine?
Oh, it was so bad.
Oh
right
my
now, I got goosebumps.
God,
Like,
yeah.
she was the most important client I've ever had in my life.
Oh, she
because
taught
when
you a
she
lesson.
left,
Oof.
I left, and I went right back and I assisted for another couple of years, and then that was
And that's the other thing too. I never downgrade other people's work unless they say to me, "This is just so off kilter." But I'll never ask where they went.
Yeah,
I don't want to
see?
know where they went.
And
I want to
that's-
fix it.
Yes, and that's the ignorance I had back then. I wasn't.
I think we
polished.
were all like that when we
Yeah.
got out of hair school. We thought we were just going to conquer the world. But
Well, because you're coming out of school. If you're good in school, you're the best in school. You're the
Oh,
best in
yeah.
your world. But now you're out here
no
and
freaking clue.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. As far as being a man, though, in the industry, do you find it has its privileges?
Now, not as much as before, right? So again, before it was novelty. I'm more like just, but there is something different in my delivery. I see things differently, like or a straight man would see things differently,
Right.
Just and one thing that I've noticed is if I tell you, "Oh my God, you look so hot," but then my buddy, who we know is gay, says it, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Oh, but see,
Yeah,
I don't
of
agree.
course.
I think that having a straight man do your hair and tell you what looks good and what doesn't look
Oh,
good
I think
is
it's a
much
better opinion.
Yeah.
But he would have someone look at him like, "How dare you say that?" Where a gay man could get away with that.
You know, I'm very cautious, and you don't, again, going back then, right? I was always a little
Yeah.
flirty, breaking. You don't want to do that
And I'm
because
sure a lot of clients came to you because they wanted to have some type of flirtation.
Well,
or,
years
have a
ago-
good-looking guy.
oh,
does their
I
hair.
was a good-looking guy back then. I had
You
all my
still
hairs.
are.
You still
Stop
are.
it.
You still are.
But you know what? Years ago, my mom took me to get my hair done, and she's blonde. She wanted me blonde, and we went to Newbury Street, all straight guys, a lot of Italian, tight pants, you know, with all their chains,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, the hair on their chest, really masculine men.
Yep.
You didn't see a lot of gay guys.
Nope.
Jump forward to about maybe even 20 years ago, if we were all in the salon, all women primarily, that's what we work with. Although I'd love a straight guy in the shop, the women would gravitate towards the gay guy that I had in the shop automatically. They'd automatically think he was better than us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which he was great, but that didn't mean anything.
No, not when it comes
You
down
know,
to
it
skill.
didn't mean
It's what you
anything.
emulate and what you put out. But at the end of
Right.
the day, all that matters is what's walking out of the chair.
I think
Right.
gay men or men in general have a better way of expressing like what they're seeing better than a woman would, or maybe
They
be
get
more
away with it
believable.
more. I think a
You know?
gay
Yeah.
guy gets away with saying a lot more than a straight guy or us or
Right.
women.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that gets me, like what's uncomfortable for me sometimes is this. Let's say that the client I'm working with, what they want is just not the best because maybe their face is a little fuller or, you know, maybe we don't want to do that, you know. But it can be taken as an insult if I'm not delicate with the delivery, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you off of what I know, my experience, what I've been taught. I want you to feel the best you can feel.
Right.
So, but sometimes, like, you know, I run into that when we were talking about the money piece on the
Right.
triangle-shaped face, right? So I say, how am I going to tell somebody, no, you can't have that. You look weird. I mean,
I
I
know.
guess, you know,
Right.
it's something that's there, I
I
guess.
would appreciate it though, but I guess because I'm in the business,
We're in the
I would
business.
Because
appreciate
we're in
it.
the business, so
Yeah,
we
like
see it as,
that.
oh yeah, but
Yeah.
otherwise, like, I'm going to think, well, what's wrong with my face?
Right.
Why can't I have that?
But makeup artists do that all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can get away with it too. I mean, they know what contouring you need. They know how your eyelid is. I mean, it's so many little things that they can get away with styling where we can't say that same thing.
And I'm telling you here, if you have a makeup artist in your shop, hit her up about contouring. She
Yeah.
will absolutely be able to help you, and it'll change all your highlights. It'll change everything.
I agree
good
with
idea.
that. I'm going to look at that more. See, you always learn, and that's
Always.
the part where kids coming out of hair school, and I say kids, to me they're kids. You know, they think that they've already learned, like you said, they were the shining star, and they're going to teach us something. And honestly, every day you hear something or watch a video, even if you don't attend a class,
Yes.
and you just get a little bit of something out of that.
Absolutely, education is just supremely imperative. Like that's all.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
You're right.
And
You're
it
right.
builds confidence. Because when you
Absolutely.
have the education, you can get away with, you know, being more professional and saying, no, I know my stuff. I have the education behind it.
Exactly.
You have
Exactly.
you have a lot to show.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenges today, too, as a stylist, is really social media,
Oh yeah.
and of course apps that filter, and you know, it's just people will come in with silver, and they have jet black hair or brown hair or whatever.
Yeah, and they got $50 in 1 hour.
Exactly, and it's like exactly. Silver should just go away. I'm sorry.
Telling you. I'm telling you. And the other, again, and it all kind of ties in. It's so funny. We were talking about, when we were going back to talking about toning, what clients don't realize is that no one's ever naturally silver. No one's ever, the thing is, the undertone of a level 10 is very pale yellow. So
Right.
it's always going to go back to warm. You always have to revert to that. Unless we go past that, blow it out to white, and now your shit's dead.
Right now
Right.
you have just
People
cotton
don't realize
candy
that
hair.
when you
Yeah.
have that, it means that your hair is done.
Oh, yeah, you
know,
did
it's
some heavy
beautiful.
work.
It can be beautiful, but it's very damaging to the hair.
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
you're
Looks-
suffering for
so
weeks.
a lot of Asian
months.
clients have resilient hair, and we get away with it, but only for so long.
And only for so long. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then if the density of the hair, everything changes. So, It's some you can, some you don't, and it's okay to say no sometimes.
We do.
It's okay,
Didn't Ayana say no to someone yesterday, Dan? Somebody called who wanted silver hair yesterday.
I don't remember that.
You don't?
I don't remember that. Where was I?
You answered the phone and you said, this girl wants to come in. She wants silver hair. And she was just like, no.
It's been a long day. I really don't
It's
remember.
been a long day for you, huh?
Although there was a good anecdote from today.
What's that?
You remember the client we had yesterday that was desperate to come in today for a little help up north,
Yeah.
and they had the funeral to go to.
Oh, right.
And as they were leaving, Ayana said, "I hope you have fun tomorrow."
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy.
It was her brother's funeral, too.
Oh,
my
Well, that's kind of
It'd be
like
a good old time. At least
you got to
you'll
be
looking
cautious.
better than him after the appointment.
You
right?
know, this business is thankless in so many ways because you have to be on your game, know your customers, know their history, do the right thing, say the right thing, and it takes a long time to get there.
Oh, it absolutely
And
does.
before you even really start making even money, you have
Yes.
to have such a passion.
Yes.
So it's not easy, and I tell newcomers, think twice.
This is a passion-driven business.
It
You're
has
not
to be.
jumping in for the fast bucks.
But it's
Right.
also mentally like draining sometimes.
Absolutely. I
You
see
have to
some
be on
people's
your game.
names on my book for next week because I'm still, I'm with L'Oreal Professional. I'm just full-time. I'm
Right.
their education guy in the Northeast, Monday through Friday. Saturday, me personally, I don't feel like I can teach to my best ability if I'm not doing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yes.
Because I need to have my hands in it.
need to use
and
the
I need to say,
products.
hey,
Yeah.
this is my experience, And all I do is color. That's it. For 28, I don't pick up shears anymore, right? And I do up don'ts. Blow dry is not my thing.
Don't
you know.
my thing either.
So
That's a problem too. We
Yeah.
love to work in a niche, but sometimes, if you have to make money, you have to do everything.
absolutely. And the clients, I had one say to me, she goes, "What do you mean you don't cut? You do color. You're a hairdresser."
Oh, people always say that.
Oh
to
yeah.
me too.
I'm like, well, would you go
I
to
mean,
the bakery for a steak?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I
Right.
do cut if it's essential. If I need to do a trim, if I need to do a layer
A
cut.
trim.
But I'm not going to say that I do something that I don't do well if I don't do it well.
Exactly. And let's
just not
going
gonna
back
do
to the
it.
filtering. That's why I'm not going to put out some filtered picture of my color that I can't replicate
You
when you come in.
cannot.
You know,
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
foolish.
So, what do you think though of the business today? I think you mentioned blow dry bars. Actually, what do you think of those?
Yeah. Well, they bring me back to my past, and what I mean by that is that social media has changed everything in this industry. So there are kids coming out of school that already have a small clientele, that already have a following, because every single Instagram page you see, that's somebody branding themselves, right? That just their branding. So we didn't have that. So they're coming out of the gates with that, So with that intention and with that, once you get a little bit of juice behind you, you're feeling good, So at a salon, especially a top tier salon, you're not going to get on the floor. You're going to assist. You're going to learn, and they're going to train you correctly. But now with all this flash and cash and all this, they're just going right to the blow dry bars because boom, now they're making money. But now, let's say you're there
but
2
they
years.
don't build a clientele.
No, and let's say you're there 2 years at the blow dry bar, and now you come to me. You're still at square one. You're still doing the assistant program. You're still running from the bottom up because all you can do
Is blow
at that
dry.
level is blow dry.
Well, that's
Exactly.
so many times that we've had blow dry bar stylists give their opinion on our clients' extensions or hair, and it's like they have no
Oh,
idea.
absolutely.
That's a great point. I
And
never
it's
thought
like
of that.
Well,
Yeah.
just don't like we said before. We don't insult other people. We don't
Yeah.
diminish work. But I feel like sometimes in a blow dry bar, they feel like they can examine your hair
It's
just because
like
they're
the
kind
hair
of
school next door.
100 times.
They have an opinion.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
gosh! No,
Yeah, it's like
what do you
you
know
have
about
no
the hair
idea.
extensions
Nothing.
that we've been
Not
doing
yet,
for
at least.
25 years?
Exactly.
Not
How
yet.
dare you?
Well, everybody's a critic, and that's the other thing too, especially online. They're,
Oh, yeah.
they're faceless,
Oh, yeah.
so they'll just pop.
Want to ask you any advice for new hairstylists because I know a lot of newbies are listening to us.
Biggest advice I could give is one, education. Make it a priority. Make it a priority because, again, like I said earlier, if you're not growing, you're dying. And you have to expand. You have to stay relevant in this business. It moves so fast. And also, work on yourself. Work on your self-esteem, your confidence. Work on that, not in a point of your work, but as a person. Because if you're coming with the facts and you're confident in yourself, you're going to display that. but if you're very timid and meager, you want to get out of that shell. You're coming in to a big arena, right?
This is not a business that you can be a shrinking violet.
No,
There's
no.
just no way.
No. So the thing is, come out, head up, start your branding now. For the kids in school that have one Instagram page and they're putting their hair on there and they're getting hammered on Saturday nights, make 2 pages.
Yeah,
have
right.
one professional, have one personal.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And start branding yourself in a professional light and have a goal and get there. You know, this industry is more than just working behind the chair. I mean, I'm in education. There's consults. There are so many avenues of success in this industry, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
What do you
Yes.
think about Olaplex, real quick? Since you do color a lot, do you use it?
Yeah.
Great question. I am not a big fan just because I came on the scene before Plex, right? Before those bonders.
Oh, yeah, we all did.
So yeah, we were there before. So if I didn't need them then, well, it's Olaplex, I don't need it now. I will continue to work at a level where I will not create damage. You
Right.
know?
I think that's so accurate because till this day I have all these bond builders and I use them. And I say to myself, it's almost the same.
Yeah,
If you're
I mean-
cautious in the way
Yeah.
you're bleaching, lightening, you're not going to have a problem.
Well, I feel like they think it's more of an upsell. You know, you kind of say you want an Olaplex treatment.
it's
you
a
can
great
upsell, and it's
marketing
great.
tool.
Right.
So now, for instance, right, like marketing tool, exactly. We could do, so in L'Oreal Professional, right, if we had those problems, let's say your hair was a little bit compromised, but you still wanted lights, we have an ammonia-free lightener with a beeswax called Platinium, right?
Oh,
It's-
Platinium. I
Yeah,
use
Platinium.
Platinium.
It's beautiful, and it's going to be the integrity is going to be better.
I know
It
you're
won't
gonna. I know
compromise.
you're gonna think that I'm crazy, but
No, no.
20 years ago, I used L'Oreal, and I used Platinium, and it had that shaker bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew I mixed it right. I mean, it was really simple. I had to stop because I don't know what I did, but I went to the rep. You know who the rep was back in those days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love you too. I love you too.
Yeah, we could just look at each other. But anyway, I shook it all up. I started using it, and it was like a science project. It just started going.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Yeah.
What did I do?
I can't speak to this
Nobody could
exactly.
tell me.
But this is something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Right.
This is not L'Oreal Professional. This is me as
This
a
is Eric,
colorist
yes.
experience, right? This is Eric
Right.
talking. I never, ever whisk my lighteners. I never
I
whip
didn't
my
whisk that,
lighteners. I
though.
don't shake them.
Well, that was what they wanted us to do, though. Do you remember it came in a shaker?
Not then. I wasn't using it back then.
Okay.
So
Came in
and
its
things
own-
have changed.
two
The eggs.
plastic, the eggs.
Yeah, we still
and
have
you
those.
shook them up. And when I tell you, and then after that, it all was like doing this crazy stuff, and it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
I was trying to use it like stupid, and it was just turning to powder.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
Interesting.
And what's so important that you are that a lot of reps aren't is you are a colorist. You are a stylist. The person
Yes.
selling at that time, I went back to her and told her, I'm not having a great experience. I love the pink bag. The
yeah, the
I love
Nutri.
the
Yeah,
developer. It
absolutely.
was so pretty. But I can't get this right. What am I doing wrong? She couldn't give me an answer.
See, it's a different animal. I can give you an answer today. I don't know then, but
Yeah, but she couldn't even
Platinium-
come back to
nah,
me.
See, that's
Yeah, but
that's-
that was a long
or at least
time
if
ago.
if she was unsure, I'll get the answer.
She
for
kept
you.
a lot of
asking me.
reps don't know
No, they don't know
how
their
to
ass
do
from their
hair.
elbow. But she kept asking me, "Is it 40 volume?" And no, it was not 40 volume. Well, 40 volume. Yeah, I understand. It was not 40 volume.
That drives
Maybe it
me
was a
crazy.
shaker.
Yeah.
But I agree with I digress.
Yeah.
The whipping of the color.
I challenge
Do we
you.
really need
Call
to
to
do
action,
that?
right? Call to action
why
out
do people,
there.
Why is they just feel like
They're all whipping colors.
It's
They're
time.
in our salon.
It's
I
time.
can't
They're
stand
in
it.
the back. They're with the lightener. They're making meringue. They're, whipping it up. But now here's the thing. When you're using a lightener, there are three things, right? You've got the lightener itself. You've got oxygen.
I was going to just say.
And
is it-
heat.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you are whipping it up, right, like Julia Child,
Yeah.
you
Right.
are over oxygenating. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now.
I think it is.
You're just putting all
Air.
that air into it. So instead of processing on the hair where it should in your 7 levels of lift, now you're getting 4 or 5 because you beat the shit out of it.
It's so true. Like when you leave bleach there, and what does it do?
Oh, you see it blow
Expand
up,
and
absolutely.
blow up.
And when you're doing intricate work like we are now, right, with the balayage, we don't need that expanding and spreading. We need it to stay right where we want it, those clean perimeter lines. And just by simply folding your lightener down, you'll achieve that. You'll achieve that. It's a big difference. So I'm telling you out there who don't believe me, fold one and whip one.
I don't whip. We don't. Both of us don't.
I do not whip. No.
Nope. Whip it good.
Well, anyway, you know what? You're a pleasure. We need to see more of you.
Oh, I love it.
How can people find you?
All right, so online, you can find, social media, Instagram. I am at the L'Oreal Alchemist. L'Oreal
Alchemist. I like
Chemist. Yeah, so not the L'Oreal Chemist. I'm the L'Oreal Alchemist.
There you
Right.
go.
So I had to
Alchemist.
switch it up.
Good, see?
That's
Yeah.
cute.
Learn a
I
few
like
things,
that.
huh, Dan?
Yeah.
Let's go over the regions if people, because I mean, who wouldn't want you to educate them, right?
Absolutely.
So you cover Massachusetts,
Yeah, I have all of New England, the
all
whole
of
New
England. Okay. Okay.
And then if you have L'Oreal Professional, I'm your guy. And then I am just, and imagine this is how amazing LP is, right? I'm the guy that's coming in first. We have more advanced people for artists that we're going to send in to do other things with you too. Like, I mean, Nancy Braun. She's, check her out. I think it's Balayage by Braun. Amazing.
I love that you give education continuously in a salon. That's so important. Even if it's just talking about the same basic things, the change is always a little.
If we sat down for a half hour and just had a round table like we were, but just color,
Yeah.
we'd fix every problem you had because we would work through it together.
We'd
I'm
brainstorm.
not saying
Yeah.
I have the answers, but between us
But all of us.
Yeah.
we're going to figure it
combined.
out.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, you know what? You're the best, and I thank you. And you have referred some wonderful people to us, and I thank you for that.
Oh,
always.
absolutely. You
I
do
will
beautiful work.
always
Beautiful work.
Be indebted to you for that. So that being said, thank you, and Dan.
Noel,
Quiet
everyone's
Dan.
talking about the contest. I've been
Oh.
answering text messages the whole time we've
our
been on the podcast.
contest. Yes, and that's coming up in a couple
When
weeks.
is
We
the
have to
cutoff
pick
date for
the
people
winner.
to enter?
Oh, it's now. It's we have one
You
more
have
week.
to pick a date.
I had a date. I just don't have it in front of me.
You don't remember what the date
I think
is.
the date was
October 35th.
October. It's the end of this month, I believe. So there's like
August
a couple.
31st is the
yes,
cutoff.
yes,
Labor Day
and
weekend.
then we're going to have the whole thing done by the end of September
for the actual video
for the actual
presentation.
video
I think that's going to be a
presentation.
lot of fun. So if the folks want to enter again, send in the email, noel@noelsalon.com.
Tell us your story. Tell us why you think you deserve hair extensions, lip injections, why you want this makeover.
That's awesome.
Yeah, tell us something, not just a hard luck story. You could be.
There have been a lot of hard luck stories.
There's been a lot of
yes.
hard luck stories, and that's great. You know, we want to help, but get creative. We like creative.
Yeah, mix it up. I
Mix
like
it up a little bit. But yes.
Watch it. Hurry up, or I'm going to take the lip injections here.
Exactly. We're going to take them.
And I tell you, more and more now, Noel, they're asking about this discount that you're offering on the social media. If they see the ad itself, the 15% Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. It's been
Sunday, Monday,
unbelievable.
Wednesday. Those are our days, not the other days. We just need Sunday, Monday, Wednesday.
If you mention the ad, you get the 15% with some of
15%
the
off.
greatest stylists in the Northeast, from what I'm told.
You've seen them and you see them in action.
It is
think
what
we
I
are.
get to see with my eyes when these ladies leave. I feel like Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion, really, when I see some of them walk out.
Speaking of that,
Love it.
I want to tell you next week we have a beautiful young woman who is a Playboy model.
Ellen Damsky.
No,
all right.
Ellen's wonderful. She's coming on next. She's a psychic.
Love it.
No, her name is Sydney, and she's going to be on the cover of Playboy Venezuela next month. She's been
I'm going to
out-
guess you can't get that at the local news.
She has been to the mansion. She's going to talk about Hugh Hefner.
In the grotto.
She's going
right?
to talk about
He's
that
still
grotto.
alive?
No,
he's
no,
dead.
he's
Oh, I
But
was gonna say.
believe
Long
she
dead.
met him, even
Oh,
though
cool,
she's
cool,
a very
cool.
young girl. The grotto. She's going to do a comparison between the grotto and the whole mansion scene and what goes on in this lovely little town we live in, because it can be a little crazy here too in Boston. So
Oh,
Do
yeah.
we have a grotto here?
we don't have a grotto.
We should make one. We should
I
make
know.
one.
A grotto that people are going in over here?
No, but we have some crazy people hanging out.
Oh, yeah. Boston, we're batshit crazy.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'd
So,
like to know, does Venezuela have its own Playboy Mansion? I mean,
Maybe
is there
they-
a
you know
what? They have a
Venezuelan
grotto.
Hugh Hefner?
yes,
Yeah.
we're going to have to ask her. She's
go ahead.
jet setting all the time.
Yeah.
She's out in L.A., so she's... Dan, you'll have fun.
All right.
You'll have a
All
lot
right.
to
We'll
ask
see.
She's
her.
doing her thing, huh?
She's
That's
doing-
awesome.
she's having a
It's
good
always nice
time.
to see somebody just go.
And
Just
there's one with
succeed.
beautiful hair color. Her hair color looks beautiful. It's like
Very nice.
It's
Honey?
a honeyish, actually honey, but it's really pretty on her.
Nice.
And from what I'm told, Aurora, on the long ride, the lengthy ride we had here to the studio today, she's very excited about the guest we have the week after,
Yes.
the Scissor Warrior.
The Scissor Warrior that you booked.
I'm
Do you know a guy named Juno, the Scissor Warrior? He sharpens shears. and-
Juno, who I'm talking about, right?
Juno.
Juno? Yeah, Juno.
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 I don't know Juno.
No, okay, well, Dan.
I think we're going to be in for a hell of a conversation.
I
with
just
the
hope
Scissor
people can
Warrior.
understand him because I can't.
Well, maybe Yodit
Maybe
could come
Dan.
on. And then what about the big contest we're having for the fall now? After the
We have another contest.
cosmetics.
Another contest? What's that?
Win a date with Sade.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
that's a stylist.
All right.
You're fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That sums it up.
that sums
That's
it
It's
up.
a big
Take
fall here at the Hair Matters.
Yes, take us out, Dan.
Ladies, gentlemen, it has been another tremendous podcast here on Hair Matters for your hosts, Noel and Aurora. We'll see you next time. Good night. Don't forget, for all your hair needs, check us out, noelsalon.com.